Squeaky clean. Squeaky clean.
It's time for me to come clean. This is not my real voice. If I recorded this podcast with my natural speaking voice, you'd all laugh at me.
This is my real voice, actually. I know, I sound kind of like Kermit the Frog.
Anyway, let's get on with it. I keep having these dreams where I'm traveling to New York City, except it's like the year 3000 or something, and the whole world has been taken over by China. There was something else I wanted to talk about, but as soon as I started writing that last thought down, the other thing completely disappeared from me. You know how it is, being limited by such a primitive brain. It's tough being human. I wish I could use this podcast to talk about dreams more, but most people don't want to hear about other people's dreams. The places I go, the things I see, are so unforgettable. Sometimes I find myself flying over the ocean, watching these amazing, majestic, and terrifying sea monsters thrash about, and eventually I fall into the water. And most of the time, when I die in my dreams, I don't wake up, I just transition to a new dream. I experience death quite often in my dreams, to the point where I think I know what it feels like. And it's mostly painless, but it is scary. It feels similar to waking up from a dream, except you don't actually wake up, you just enter into a new dream. And maybe it happens many, many times before you finally get to experience the actual afterlife. Perhaps you yourself are currently living out a series of dreams, and there's no waking up because you died a long time ago. That's just something I think about sometimes. Don't get me wrong, I do not think that this world is a dream of mine. If anything, it is a shared dream that we are all experiencing. I can't tell you how many times that me expressing these thoughts have caused other people to feel uncomfortable around me, because they get the idea that I think that I'm stuck in a perpetual dream and that everything and everyone is a product of my own imagination. I've never thought that in my entire life. I just want to get that straight. I was once kicked out of a party because I tried to start a conversation around this concept. I gotta change the subject before I get angry. Oh, you know what that sound means? It's time for our poetry section. This poem is titled Peanut Butter. It's an old poem of mine, and like most of my poems, it's based on a dream. Peanut butter, and the two brothers who fell down a hill. Were they fighting over a jar? They went to that school in that town. That school with that science class that I never attended. The school with the endless maze of lockers? Yeah. And a giant swimming pool. There was someone there. Is this the same school with the spiral staircase and the magic tree? No. Those were two different schools. And that tree was a man. He had antlers, and he was dying. He gave me his antlers and turned into a tree. So I wore his antlers proudly for the rest of the day. Ah yes, peanut butter. Golden antlers. An orb called Jesus. And a pigeon-toed goddess. This episode sure has me thinking a lot about my past. I don't know if I've said this before, but I have somewhat of a checkered past. Well, you already know I'm over 1,000 years old. I know I did an episode where I interviewed the oldest living man, but that was just the oldest living human. And I'm not even the oldest living entity. There are beings in this realm that have been around long before planet Earth, which continue to use their powers to bend and fold this universe, over and over as they desire. These entities are the true masters of the universe. Multiple gods control our existence here on Earth. We need to go back underground. Let's take shelter in the underground cities that the ancients left behind. Let's go back in time. Oh, I wish. How I wish. Sometimes it works. Wishing. But I've never been able to wish myself into the past and change my current reality by making different decisions. We all know that stuff never works out anyway. I had a dream once when I was younger that I went back in time, and I just ended up making a whole new set of bad decisions, and it didn't make a difference. How can one know which path is the path to providence? One has no choice but to try all the paths. Life really is like a video game in many ways. My favorite video game is Wario's Woods. Yeah, there's nothing quite like a walk through the woods. This one time, I was walking through the woods, and I went off the trail to take a break. So, I was out there, sitting on a log, just minding my own business, when I see a man on a horse come strolling down the path. And as he gets closer, I realize, that's not a man on a horse. That's a centaur. Centaurs are known to be very territorial, so obviously, I was scared for my life. And I tried to just sit still like a statue. But of course, I had to take a photo. So this is the photo. And as you can see, the sound of my camera shutter alarmed him. But fortunately, I was wearing a bird costume that I completely forgot about. So he just thought I was a bird. Anyway, I can't believe I was lucky enough to get this shot. Truly majestic and terrifying creatures centaurs are. Back in my day, we didn't have centaurs. We just had sense. Common sense. Too many people lack common sense these days. Anyway, I gotta take a shower. See ya.